Shoppers crave personalized experiences from the brands they love, and a great mobile app from favorite brand does exactly that. And that is where you need ImShop. Fast launch with any e-commerce platform, utilize advanced loyalty programs, retain customers with community, improve conversion with content, assist your customers anytime. Best thing about ImShop, you can launch a fully functional mobile app with all the benefits in just 6 to 8 weeks due to ready integrations. Join many retail leaders who already use ImShop. imshop.ai, apps for e-commerce and retail. Hey, hello everybody and welcome to the podcast. My name is Filip Lopkowski, I'm the host of the show, and today we're going to talk about a topic where commerce meets culture, meets community, and I have a very exciting guest for you today. I will talk to Oliver James, who is the founder of the brand called Friend of Dorothy Wellness. Hi, Oliver.
Hi, Philip. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much for finding time for us today. And let's get right into this and tell me, please, a little bit more about Friends of Dorothy. What is the brand and how it started?
So we started 2 years ago. I was looking for something new to get into. I'd never worked in commerce before. And I basically came up with an idea for a single product based on a book that I had read on how to create a £1 million brand. So I read this book, came up with an idea for a single product, and within 3 weeks had developed in my head a whole product range. And it's just been crazy. I mean, literally from one product, it just sort of all expanded from there really quick into a whole range that all links together. And yeah, I mean, we've really sort of exploded into the market. It's gone really well.
Nice. I love the fact that it started from the book. I think that this might actually be one of the cases where, this kind of like a self-development book really been
Pays
the
off,
start
yeah.
of a big business.
And honestly, I'm responsible for selling a lot of these books now because everybody's like, how did you do this? And I'm like, just read this book, go and buy it.
What's the book? Tell us.
It's 1 year to $1 million.
Okay.
And it's really, really good. Like literally just the idea is it helps you come up with one product, then think of 3 others. You sell 25 of them a day at a price point of £30 each and just build it from there. And, we've been really fortunate that, we have grown very, very quick. We've moved into new markets because we're based in the UK. But now I would say 80% of our business is actually in the US. So we started off predominantly just as a supplements company. We're now, our target market is gay men, but we're now opening a pharmacy, which is also under the Friend of Dorothy umbrella. Again, just for gay men in sexual wellness. We're in negotiations with some major brands, a fashion brand, about bringing their range into what's ultimately going to be our app and Friend of Dorothy universe. We are moving into events, and then next year we plan to launch a dating app for our community as well. So it's really from a single product. What we're trying to build out is something that is a community. It's by developing our product and our product range, we very much quickly found out who our audience was and realized that we're part of that community, and bringing them together and sort of creating a hub that has everything they'll need in one place is the plan.
Wow. So this is a very exciting strategy. I mean, like in the modern commerce, if the company is not creating like a world of itself, starting from content, then moving into communities, then, the brand doesn't really much exist anymore it's very important to root yourself in some kind of community. And we see a lot of those running communities and other communities, and super popular. And I love the fact that you've basically grown all of this from one single product, and definitely I will go check out this book. Very interesting. You told about the mobile app, and this is something that I'm really, really interested in, because I see that more and more brands are looking at a mobile app as a tool to actually build this type of community. Why a mobile app to start it?
So we've not even touched the side of where our community is at. Like, I come across so many people who have never heard of us. So, and when they do, they are shocked because they haven't heard of us and they're our demographic and so on. So a big thing is, well, how do we keep bringing more people in, but then not just to have them as a customer, but make them feel part of the community? Because I think, the brands that are not developing other ways are just trying to sell a product. And I don't think it's difficult in this day and age, especially with the likes of Amazon and so on. It's easy to sell a product. But I think the benefit of having an app is it allows you to grow a community and come together. And that's something that we did very well with our influencer program over the first sort of 2 years. And we have a database of thousands of influencers now, each of them with thousands of followers. And an app just seemed a logical way to go. Because we already, we found our community, we know who our people are, and they want to connect with each other. And that's the thing. If you're just selling products, you don't give the opportunity for people to connect. And I think that's what an app can do if done right. When you think of the big social media companies, that's what they do. They give you a way to connect to other people. And I think that's what an app, especially in the way that we're doing it, where it's not just focused on selling products, that's where the ideas come from. And I think that's hopefully, touch wood, why it's going to do so well. Because we haven't focused on, how can we just sell more of our supplements? Or how can we sell more of our pharmacy thing? It's allowing us to move into areas that it would have been really difficult to have gone with just a website. If we've got a website and we're selling supplements on one part of it, a pharmacy on another part, clothes on another part, which are all things our community wants, there'd be a real disconnect. And bringing somebody from one part of that to another part can be quite difficult. But the way the app is being built, it's all seamless. We're putting an events thing into it, which is geo-located. And that's great because it means that every time a new event is added into it, we get a chance to give our customers something or give our app users something without trying to sell them something. If we can say, this event is taking place next to you next week, why don't you go? We're doing it. We're not making any money from that, but actually better than making money, we're giving something to our clients. And if you can give somebody something without asking anything, I think that's a great way to build a relationship. And an app over a website, over a mailing list, allows you to do that more. And I think this is why I genuinely believe the app is going to be so well for us, is the things it's allowing us to branch into outside of what we are as a company. Without the app, I don't know if we would have been able to have moved into these other parts, into these other industries. Certainly not as seamlessly as we're intending on.
Wow. Okay. So what is the incentive for the consumer to download it? Because it's like an additional work that they have to do compared to the website where they just go and check out the products and order it. What is the incentive to actually go and download the app?
So we as a company, we don't really do any paid advertising. We just work with influencers. We're hoping to be able to leverage the influencers, first of all, to get them there. We have developed sample packs, which initially will hopefully bring the customer in. So by downloading, you will get this free sample pack, push traffic. But even without that, we haven't fully launched our app yet, and we're already getting downloads at an impressive rate. So once we actually properly launch it and market it, but I think the big thing is going to be the community. It's what people are. I think a lot of people and social media sort of creates this, end up a bit lonely and looking for connection. And that is what I believe. That's why I would download the app. The fact that there's events for people like me and things that I am interested being shown to me and given to me for free. I think that's a big incentive. The fact that, even Facebook, they've done the same. They've put a dating app part inside their app. So I'm not inventing anything new here, but what I'm doing is I'm looking at, what are the biggest players doing? What are the likes of Facebook and Instagram, and what are these companies doing? And how can I do that at a micro scale for my community? It's yeah, it's these are all things that have been done, but I think people quite often think, oh, well, I couldn't do that. Facebook can do it because they're so big. Well, actually, whatever your business model is, whether it be you service horse riders or parents, or for my example, the gay community, know, coffee lovers, whoever, they're all looking to connect with like-minded people. And that's what an app can give you if you get it right. I mean, for me, creating an app to sell more products would be stupid because you're right. It is harder. There is more steps involved getting the person to download your app. But if you can use it to give them something which is community connection, and making them feel valued, that's the benefit of an app.
Well, I guess eventually this will lead to selling them more product, but maybe at a better lifetime value retention rate, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, 100%. It's like mailing lists. Mailing lists are great, but you get a drop off after a while. There's only so many things you can say in an email.
Yeah.
Before people stop opening them. I've got even companies that I'm a loyal buyer to, and I buy every single month. At first, I'll be engaged in their email list, their emails, but after 6 months of reading them, what new can they be saying? But when you build an app, and we're getting other people to be contributors to our apps. Other people are going to post their events in the app. That means I'm getting access to other people's audiences as well. We're bringing on personal trainers who are going to create content. We're not paying them. They're going to create content. But as part of them creating content for us that they're putting out to their audience, we're giving them a space in the app to market themselves, which is valuable to the consumer because, for example, the personal trainers, therapists, life coaches, we've got all these people coming on board, and they're going to be given a space in the app. And in return, we get access to their audience and they create content for us. And we didn't start with all of these ideas. We started with an app and wanting to bring our community together. But then the benefit is, as we've developed the app, we're like, oh, and we can do this. Whereas if we were just looking at our website, you can keep adding stuff in, but you're distracting from selling. Yeah. Whereas this, every time they come into the app is an opportunity for us to sell something. Once you get it on your phone, I mean, the amount of people I've spoken to check this, I think people rarely erase apps from their phone unless they're annoying, especially if they're adding value. And apps fall into one of two things. You forget about them or you use them a lot because they add value. And the ones that give you something to do, even if it's just mindless scrolling, you go back to a lot and you keep. The other ones you forget about. And I think the ones you tend to forget about are the ones that are trying to sell you something or don't have anything new to say, which again takes me back to sort of that mailing list type thing, which I think, whichever I'm thinking about an app now for another company that I have as well. It's a supplement company, but it's aiming for, with that brand, for mums. Yeah. So it's called Mums Club. And it's supplements for pregnant women and so on. And for that, we're going to do the same thing. Long term, the plan is to establish an app that provides advice and guidance for mums, gives them a place to meet and talk within the app to each other so that they can provide advice and guidance and connect in a way. And I just think it's such a great thing that the big companies have done. And I think not enough small companies have realized that you can do this. Like it's all achievable. It can be done on a micro scale. And I genuinely think people would rather do it on a micro scale than with the big companies because you'll feel more connected.
Yeah, makes sense. And I think that this is a beautiful strategy. And the app's been around for so long, but somehow it's only now when retail brands start to realize that there is much beyond just the commercial layer of having an app. And there's like a layer after layer of different benefits that brands can create for their users and for themselves. But maybe, we're still talking about business. So our audience is mostly business. And of course, people are also interested in like numbers and maybe, some metrics. I know that this is very early. You said that you're only beginning with with the mobile app for Friends of Dorothy. But maybe you can already mention some, KPIs or like goals that you're setting for the app or that you already see.
Um, sorry, I'm going to edit that bit out. So it's too early for us really to have it. I mean, we are getting, and it's a very low number. I get this. It's that we're getting like 30 downloads a day, which is tiny. However, that's 30 people putting their device on putting the app on their phone. I don't need to worry about when I start to market to these people. I don't need to worry about getting through spam filters with Google or Hotmail or any of this sort of thing. And I'm getting 30 a day by doing nothing. Literally, all I've done is put a link on my Instagram. And I've also set up that every new follower on Instagram is sent a link. Hey, do you want to download our app? So I'm doing nothing. It's all automated. While doing nothing, I'm getting 30 followers a day. For us, the app doesn't launch until probably mid-January. I think what that tells me is very quickly, I can move that 30 to 150, 200 downloads a day. And again, that's just with small tweaks. If I can get 30 by doing nothing, when I put my mind to it and I push all of my resources at it, genuinely, I would like 100,000 downloads in my first year. To put that in perspective, I get 100,000 visitors to my website every month. It's just working out the right incentives to get them there. Me as a business person, I'm an ideas person. I'll have 20 new ideas every day, and 18 of them need to go in the bin, but 2 of them will always be golden. And I think that's why I've always done well in business. So yeah, it's now that I've got it and I can see, and it's sort of near completion, I can see so many ways in which I can market this. I can copy what big brands have done on micro scales. So, at the moment it's small, it's tiny, and 30, it's nothing. I get that. But 30 with no effort is a lot. And all I need to do is slowly increase it. From getting to 30 to 50 a day will be easy. From 50 to 70 will be easy. If I suddenly say, I want to get 100,000 a year or 100,000 a month, obviously that's a massive number. But actually saying increasing it 10% here, 10% there, it will quickly grow. And next year, I think, once we put the dating app into it, we've looked intensively at what people don't like about dating apps. And, especially in our community, in the gay community, there's a lot of negative things about them. And what we said is, well, let's make a list of all the negative things that people don't like about these other platforms. And then when we launch our dating app within the community, all we'll do is copy what everybody else does in dating apps, but take out the bits that people hate. People hate excessive adverts. Fine. We're going to say, we're not going to have adverts in our dating app. And well, if we can build a dating app into our community, well, that's a reason for people to come into it every day. Every time I launch a product, and we have a new product launching in January, because I've built up this community, as soon as I launch a product, I know I can sell out of it straight away because I have my community in one place, and the app is really going to refine that for us. Like with our mailing list, when we launch a product, we do amazing. With the app, getting it really in front of them will just be, it'll be so good.
Nice.
Sorry, my thoughts trailed off there a little bit.
No, that's. I think that this is very, very exciting. But when people listen to us, they might think that you're talking about the functionality that is only available if you are developing this yourself. I mean, like this should cost a lot, or this should take a lot of time and effort to actually get it off the ground. Because most of the mobile apps for retailers or for like commercial brands that people think about are like a straightforward copy of their Shopify, which is like a catalog, a product description, and a cart. And all this additional functionality, what services are you using, and how long did you get you to get from the idea to actually launching the app with all this functionality?
So we're less than 2.5 months. So less than 2.5 months since we had our initial phone call. with the company who are making the app for us. So we're 2.5 months down the line, and it's gone. I mean, how much time have I invested in it in that time? Less than 20 hours personally. My business partner, I would say he probably has done more. He's maybe done 50 hours. The company who are making it for us are very good. Like, we explain the concept to them, they bring us back options of, well, here's different ways in which it could work, and it's really well done. It's like, oh, you've got option A, B, or C. What do you think of those? And then we've been able to tweak them, because most things now you can get out of the box. Like, it's all been done. And if it's not, they're able to tweak what's there and create new things. So I would say, for me, 2.5 months, we could launch now. If we wanted, we could properly launch now without the events in it. And that's the part we're holding for, the events. The events, I believe, by the end of next week will be done. So if we wanted, we could launch now, or we could launch at the end of next week. We're holding back till January just because a lot of people have stuff going on. But, I think for me, that's very quick. I think if you're using the right company, they know what they're doing, obviously, and they also understand that you don't want to be just making a copy of your Shopify store. Like, what's the point? You're making it harder. I think, if you're doing that, you're throwing money against the wall and just hoping. Why would people go and buy off your app if that's all you've done? What you want to do is you want to create something good within that. But until you start the process, you might not even realize where it's going to go. I know our idea has developed 100-fold from where we started. All we had was we wanted to create a community when we started. Yeah. And we've developed 4 other functionalities into that community since then in the space of 2 months. And practically all of it is built and ready to go. So I think it's very quick. Has it cost a lot? No, not particularly. I guess it's all relative on where you are in your business. But if you're an established business with an audience and you're focusing on how do I grow or how do I sell more products, well, the easiest way to sell more products is to get people thinking about your brand. Advertising, especially on social media, which is where most of us have to go to advertise nowadays, is really expensive and it's not particularly favorable. And you've got to run a lot of different adverts. You've got to try around with so many different graphics to get things right that, we've made cutbacks in other areas to be able to pay for the app. However, in what it's going to bring us long term, it's a good investment. To truly, we've got a mailing list of 65, 70,000 people. When we send out an email, I would say 15,000 of them open it. The app, how often when you get a message on your phone, do you not look at it? I used to have some call centers, and one of the things I hated in my call centers was how much time I would see my staff on their phone. And I'd be forever like, do some work. Because every time their phone goes, even if you say, I'm not going to pick it up and look at it, you do. And that's the benefit of an app. You don't get that with email. I have emails from my kids' school I've never read because I'm like, I know what it's going to say. They're asking me for money. Or, your phone goes off, and it is crazy when you watch people, how quick they pick it up. So from an investment point of view, it's worth it to be able to get your message to your customers in that point of view. The amount of time, no, it's easy. As long as you've got a basic vision and a good company to work with, they'll help you build out your vision. And, they should be involved. They should be giving you ideas on how you can develop it, because hopefully they've worked with enough companies to know, oh, you can do this. Or they'll be able to give you examples of what other brands have done. And I think that is what's super beneficial about going with a company that's doing it. Because there is things online you can do where it looks like you can maybe go, and I've never really done with it, try to set one up yourself. Sure, how long is that going to take to learn all the process behind it? I'd rather have it and focus on marketing it. Focus on getting it out to customers and getting them interacting with it, getting feedback from them. So yeah, for me, it's been really quick. I think 3 months is, a short amount of time. What we paid for it, uh, yeah, it was a good price, and it lasts a long time. It's not like Google adverts. You pay and your money's gone. This is something in a year's time, I've still got my app and I can develop it. And maybe some parts in it don't work and I need to reinvest to improve them. Or I think of other things to go in it, so I need to reinvest further down the line as well. But I can do that now. And every time I roll out a new feature in my app, I know it's on my customer's phone. I don't need to worry if they're going to open the email telling them about it, or if they're going to be on social media that day when I do a post about it. I've got the pop-up on their screen telling them what's happening, which for me is just I think it's going to be fantastic. I really do. Especially, as I said, that we've really built into the app that it's not about selling. Sure, it's going to sell, but it gives us so many touch points on other things with the clients that we become part of their life.
Yeah. Wow. And we can name the company that helped you build the brand, because accidentally they are also partners of the podcast, and these are the guys from ImShop, if I'm correct.
Yeah, they're very good. As I say, I mean, yeah, less than 3 months.
Wow.
And they've been great. Like I would say, to add the events feature in, we decided on that 2 weeks ago. And this Friday, they're giving us our first demo. So within 2 weeks, we've come up with the concept, right, we're going to add events in. They're like, yeah, sure, we can do it. They came back very quickly with examples of what other people are doing and saying, right, this is what we can do. This is what it will cost you. This is how long it will take, which has been amazing. We agreed on one quite quickly because they gave us all the information so clearly and the choices. Like, it wasn't just, oh, this is what we could. It very much felt like it was, here's all of the information you could possibly need, which is great. It allows you to make decisions quickly. And then they've gone off and they've started building it really quickly for us. At the same time, I've got my team elsewhere working on finding the events. So they'll show it to us Friday, provided we're happy with it. Let's say another week for maybe any tweaks, which is, normal. So by the time I'm off on vacation now in a few days, but by the time I get back from vacation, we'll be ready. We found like nearly 1,000 events that we can plug straight into our app. That's going to be amazing in less than a month. It's a whole new feature that our clients would have never have expected. So yeah, I think, for me, they're a great company. They've worked, they've done great work, and they brought things to the table that we hadn't even thought of, which I like. For me, I don't like working with companies where you've got to have the ideas and lead them on execution and chase them every day, or they just deliver what you're asking for. I hate that.
Exactly.
Or what you've paid for. Like, okay, sure.
It's like working with a lazy marketing agency that you have to chase and that you have to ask the questions all the time about your customer acquisition costs and things like this, and the instruments and the media mix and semantics and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And the best of them come to you with the proposals. Yeah,
exactly. Or for me, what I also hate is companies where you just get what you've paid for. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you asked for us to build you an app. Here you go. We've done it. Thanks. And, they could have done that when we've come, but they haven't. They've brought new things that we haven't thought of and said, oh, why don't you try this in there? Mm-hmm. And because of that, we've ended up with a whole other feature, which has allowed us to create stories within our app, kind of like what they do on Instagram, where you've got the circles across the top. Well, now all of the experts that we're going to work with, we've created that within our app, and we have videos from them talking. I didn't even know such a thing existed. And they brought that to us outside of what we had asked for, which for me is great. I always believe in, if the customer buys this, what can you include that they were not expecting? People love to get something that they're not expecting. I'm the same. Even though being from a sales and marketing background, I understand, to do that. And still, when it happens to me, I always feel good. And I think that's what's gone really well with them, is they've definitely over-delivered on what I was looking for.
Wow.
It's a nice situation to be in.
Yeah, they're great guys there. So, to wrap this up into like a final, I think, touch and a question that's still kind of going in my mind is: you've built this amazing flywheel of all of this functionality and the app and the community, and of course, the next logical question is for the business to move forward and move faster is how to acquire consumers, how to make sure that they actually download the app. What are your key bets for the next years to come in terms of acquiring consumers? Where will they come from?
We have an amazing influencer program. We've really developed our influencer program really well. And so we're going to focus very heavy on that, getting our influencers to get it out. In as much as we're not going to divert our traffic to our website. It's a big gamble, but we're going to divert the traffic to the app. And we've created a very strong web page, which shows all the features of the app. So if you think about it, when you go to a web page, you're going there to look at this product. What we've done is we've created a web page that, first of all, shows, okay, the product is going to be within this app. However, in there is this, and in there is this. So even if I was just lazily shopping, I've shown you all these other reasons to download the app. And then underneath, exactly as I was just saying a few minutes ago, always give somebody something they weren't expecting. So we've thrown in, and if you download the app, you'll get this product free with your first order from it. So there's an incentive there as well. And yeah, I think that will be it. I really genuinely believe we're not going to have a problem getting people downloading it because we've thought it through. Like, we've had time to think it through in this 3 months because we've not had to stress about the app. It's given us time to really think about how we're going to put it out to our community. And how we're going to deploy it, which a big thing will be, obviously on the website, it now comes up with a pop-up. Why don't you download our app? The general pop-up where you collect people for your mailing list, we're going to take the emphasis off that. Like, mailing list people are great. Yes, sure, they're free once you've acquired them, but they're never going to be as valuable as the app. So we're just going to move everything that we were already doing just to the app because, yeah, it's going to be a much bigger win for us long term, I think.
And are you planning to use the packaging of the actual supplement goods as a segue to bring people to the app? Because while you're growing, you're going to enter like the doors of brick and mortar pharmacies or just regular brick and mortar stores or marketplaces. So people will buy your product from an omnichannel business perspective from different places.
So yeah, I mean, we've always had a QR code on the back of our packaging to bring people to our website. But we never really gave it, we put it on there when we created our packaging. We never really gave it a thought. It was just sort of slapped on there and forgotten about. I think with developing the app, because we understand the value of getting the person to download it, we've redesigned the back of our packaging to still have the QR code, but we've also put on there a reason to download it. Download our app because you'll get this. Because the long-term value of that client, once you're into their phone, like, it's going to be so much more. So it was worth the redesign. That will take a few months to sort of roll out because we'll have to use up the stock that's in. We're currently having some stickers made to go on the front of our package. And again, we've gone a bit cheeky. We've tried to, rather than just saying download our app, everyone, people do that, or go to our website. It's been done. We sort of made it into a bit of what will happen if you scan this QR code? So that you almost create curiosity. Or, hey, do you want to meet like-minded people? And then a QR code. So that it says something, but doesn't tell you what the answer is, or doesn't ask you to do something boring, which is download our app, visit our website. Like, I already been on your website, I bought your product. Yeah. So we've tried to do it that, download our app and get this, or download our app and you'll find out this piece of information. So you add value on why to do it. We're sort of running that. In the short term, we're doing it with stickers. Longer term, we've redesigned the packaging. And we're also thinking about things that when we do mail outs, when we mail out customers' orders, is there stuff that we could put in there that we wouldn't normally? And again, not just a normal flyer saying, everybody does that. I really think it's important to think outside the box when you're doing things. And if everybody does it, that's the reason not to do it. How can you do it better? Is the way I believe. So sticking something in like a coaster with a QR code on it, or something that they're going to use a lot because you've developed the app. Well, we've developed the app. We know what value it's going to add to them. We have to get them to see the value, and we have to be able to put it to them, not just when they get their product, but every single day. And that's really going to be where we're sort of taking it. The app is giving us so many opportunities of different types of marketing we can do. Whereas, as I said, when it was just a website, you've just got a QR code. All you can do is hopefully take them back to your website to sell them another product. Anybody who has a shop knows most people go on via their mobile phone. I would say 90% of brands get all their traffic on people's mobile phones nowadays. Why would you want them to have to go and type in a URL when you can get them to go straight to your app? So using our packaging is one way we're going to leverage. And we've got some other ideas as well. And I think, but again, the app allows us to change the question or change the thing that we tell them to do. Rather than tell them, go to my website to buy more products, we've so many reasons we can tell them to download the app now. We'll leverage the packaging, we'll leverage the boxes, and lots of new ideas that we're thinking of every single day.
Wow. Oliver, thank you very, very much for taking us through this kind of like journey you're going through with your business, and I think that this is super exciting. I think that this is the best practice for any DTC brand that wants to build the world of their own outside of usual social media and Instagram and TikTok, which is important, of course, but for different probably reasons and purposes. So thank you very much. I hope that once you launch it, once you will have this first successes, we can speak again and you can tell us more about the insights. Would love to hear more insights about how it went. So wishing you great success and thank you again.
Thank you, Philip. Have a great day. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure. Bye-bye.